Stage 1. Document. Your new routine begins here, one form at a time, each signature shaping a life no one checks too closely. The corridor is empty. Each measured step brings you back into the rhythm. Breathe, sit, sign. Calm is part of the disguise. 20 forms await. Arranging them is the first small ritual. Order before you begin, so nothing unsettles the pattern you depend on. This page calls for 3 signatures. Each loop of ink is a quiet vote the system accepts without looking too closely. You fill in the name with steady strokes. The ink settles, small, final, and strangely ordinary. Each paper is cross-checked against the master list. Precision keeps the fiction cohesive. Mistakes draw attention you can't afford. They hand you 15 new forms. Small exchanges like this make the double life invisible, procedural and unquestioned. The screen counts your progress. 5 done, many to go. The interface is impassive. It simply logs what you give it. You write the false name with intent, comparing each field against the reference. Repetition turns the unfamiliar into habit. The signature lands, a small mark on paper, but a large step into a life that will be traced by other hands later. Perfection matters. 10 checklist items. If one slips, the pattern frays. So you fix what needs fixing, clean and precise. 12 forms now live in that folder. Locked away, they become ordinary records in a system that rarely questions the surface. The cabinet is a quiet archive, a geometry of days, codes, and signatures that together make a convincing history. A short pause. The clock marks a beat in the routine. Rest, then return. Continuity matters more than speed. Minutes accumulate quietly. Time itself becomes part of the system that keeps this life believable. Form 6 arrives. There is comfort in repetition. Each identical motion cements the pattern you rely on. 15 entries today. Your pocket log is a private ledger, a redundant trace kept just in case the system falters. The click of the lock marks a boundary. Inside, small routines continue uninterrupted by the world outside. 10 forms remain. You order them by priority, a quiet choreography that keeps everything flowing smoothly. 3 messages blink and disappear. Digital housekeeping is part of the work. Fewer breadcrumbs, fewer questions. 5 forms left from the morning stack. You check them one by one against the guidelines. Method over haste. A cluttered desk is actually a map of your day. Tasks, priorities, and the careful architecture of the life you present. Cross-referencing the paper with the online record catches subtle mismatches. Consistency is your strongest ally. Another signature. The pile grows. Small, ordinary confirmations that together read as a lifetime of routine. The morning batch is complete. That neat stack signals a transition. You move from initial processing to deeper review. Now, read. The phase where each line is examined, cross-checked, and made to fit the system's quiet rules. The binder holds the rules. 20-plus pages of small, consequential steps. Learning them keeps your work unremarkable. Key passages glow in yellow. These are the shortcuts and traps. Follow them exactly, and the system never blinks. Alignment matters. A crooked entry can ripple through the archive. Neatness reduces the chance of scrutiny. Every keystroke logs a story. Accurate input keeps the digital and paper records synchronized, the backbone of the routine. The screen waits, impartial. It records what you give it, names, dates, signatures, and makes them official enough. A quick consult prevents an error. Small corrections keep the machine running smoothly, and your place in it secure. Errors are corrected neatly. The disguise depends on tidiness. Nothing sloppy survives long in the files. 12 entries now. The log is a quiet ledger that proves the day existed exactly as reported. The empty hallway is a stage for routine. It lets the small work of paperwork go unnoticed day after day. 5 minutes away resets your attention. The work resumes, unchanged in purpose, steady in pace. Signatures, dates, tiny habits, you verify they all match. Consistency dissolves suspicion before it forms. One more form finds its place in the cabinet. Each insertion is another day affirmed by the archive. Every label is a breadcrumb of days past. Alone, they mean little. Together, they tell a convincing story. Another 10 to process. The day keeps its rhythm. Gather, check, sign, file. A slow, dependable machine. 15 data points on this form. You read methodically. A small audit that prevents future headaches. 10 forms sit ready. The physical stack is a map of what remains to make the day's paperwork convincing and complete. 3 mismatches flagged. Small corrections now save larger complications later. You note them and move to fix them. 5 edits to track. Your notes are lean and precise. A quick reference to keep the day on script. The pen fills the gaps. Each neat correction restores the document's plausibility in the eyes of the archive. 30 minutes in, 8 forms remain. Time keeps the pace honest, not rushed, just steady. Your notes join the private file, a backstop to the official record, kept simple and secure. A brief consult clears ambiguity. Small conversations like this grease the wheels of bureaucracy and reduce mistakes. The half-closed door keeps things insular. It frames your work as routine, quiet, uninterrupted, ordinary. The digital log accepts the update. Each recorded field stitches the paper and the system closer together. You prepare the workspace for the next form. Small adjustments keep efficiency high and errors low. The tidy layout is intentional. An organized surface breeds reliable results in this quiet work. 5 practice strokes. Muscle memory smooths the hand until the signature reads as if it always belonged to this name. Side-by-side comparison confirms consistency. Small differences can cascade. You catch them now, well, it's easy to fix. 3 messages deleted. Digital silence helps keep this part of your life compartmentalized and uncomplicated. The dashboard tallies progress. 12 completed, 15 pending. Numbers turn your work into measurable output. Corrections updated. Keeping the digital mirror accurate is essential. It prevents mismatches that invite questions. Another form arrives. The handoff is brief and clinical. No story attached, only task after task. Clear labeling reduces future friction. A neat tab means a faster search, and one less question later on. The reviewed batch is ready for filing. Each closing tray is a small finality. Tasks moved forward, accounted for. Form 1 of the signing run. You center the paper, breathe, and let the practiced motion do the rest. 20 signature lines to fill today. Each blank spot is an invitation to make the new name real, one loop at a time. The first signature glides into place. Simple, practiced. It needs to look effortless, so no one will wonder how it came to be. A quick inspection. Smudges are small betrayals. Catching them now keeps the record clean and believable. Reload. Each entry ties the paper to the database, an administrative handshake that makes the day official. The interface confirms the change. One signed, many to go. The screen dutifully keeps score. Form 2 arrives. The ritual repeats. Handoff, placement, signature. The choreography requires no explanation. 30 seconds and it's done. Muscle memory has flattened the learning curve. Consistency is the goal. You compare again. Matching spacing and slant keeps the archive coherent. A small audit after every few signatures. 3 completed. The surface begins to tell the story you intend. Ordinary work, quietly and consistently done. A pause shows time passing. 30 minutes into the signing run, rhythm steadies and attention sharpens. Form 3 is done. You keep the pace measured so that by midday the set will be complete and consistent. 5 entries now. The personal log is a simple redundancy. Your private confirmation of the day's progress. A backup record outside the system. When the official trail is impersonal, your book preserves the human sequence. A moment for the ink to settle. 10 seconds that prevent smudges and keep the pages pristine. The folder holds 4 signed pages. Closing it is a small ceremony that moves the work into its next life. Storage. A labeled folder is a promise of order. 4 forms inside become a compact, retrievable record of the day. A passing nod from a supervisor. The kind of acknowledgement that affirms routine without inviting scrutiny. Form 5 complete. The small sense of closure that comes from finishing a batch is part of what keeps this going. They rest in the tray now, waiting for filing. Each stack is a day's worth of small acts that compound into consistency. You place the signed forms into their folder and return them to the cabinet. The archive swallows another day's evidence. Drawers hold months of routine. They don't judge. They only store the appearances you have created. A written record of the filing, another trace you control. It's a compact map for tomorrow's retrievals. A brief question and a brisk answer. Keeping interactions short preserves the story's neat edges. The screen confirms. 10 logged and accounted for. Digital and paper agree, and that agreement is everything. Folder. The stage where completed forms are filed, cataloged, and folded into the habits that define your daily routine. Sorting by category makes retrieval painless. The more orderly you are, the less likely anyone will look closer. A clear label is a promise. Instant identification. Fewer questions, and another seam sealed in the routine. Digital updates sync the paper archive with the system. When both agree, the story is durable. Separation keeps the workflow efficient. What can be filed goes away. What needs more attention stays visible. Rows of folders are the office's memory. Each one holds an ordinary day that, together, forms an unquestioned history. A passing approval seals the process. Routine acknowledged, no deeper inspection required. The final page filed and the drawer locked. The day's work is secured. Orderly, logged, finished. A cleared desk signals an end. Essentials remain. Everything else settled into the archive for another day. The last personal entry records what was done and what might wait until morning. It makes the day feel contained. The building exhales. Co-workers leave one by one, the office transitioning from busy to benignly empty. You secure the last tangible traces and power down. The outward signals of the day end as you prepare to leave. A final visual check. The ritual before departure. Order kept, illusion intact. You step away for the evening. Badge ready, you walk out. Another day recorded under the new name. Another set of routines faithfully performed. A beep, a timestamp. The system notes your departure. It records the facts, not the story behind them. The commute is a quiet buffer. A last check keeps the private and public separate as you move between them. At home, the private folder waits. A domestic archive, where the day's details are kept under calm light. You document the day in a few lines. An internal memo that keeps the sequence clear for tomorrow's start. Old messages go. Digital minimalism preserves the compartments between futures and past affiliations. Evening settles in. The clock confirms another completed day within the tidy orbit of the routine you maintain. Preparing tomorrow's folder is an act of foresight, a small effort that ensures continuity when the day begins again. Securing the apartment is part of the pattern. Practical, habitual, and quietly reassuring. A private photo remains private. Not sharing is another way of keeping the life you lead neatly divided. You turn out the light and walk away. The day's routines, checked and stored, slip into quiet. Tomorrow, the system will accept it again.